This is from Emre in Istanbul. I think some people wait their whole lives for a moment they never let themselves have, not because they don't want it, but because they're afraid getting it might break everything else. I met Layla during university orientation. She was standing in line for free coffee, wearing this massive maroon sweater that looked 2 sizes too big. She was humming something. I don't usually talk to strangers, but something about her made it easy. I said, "You're gonna run out of sugar packets at this rate," and she laughed. That was the laugh that I wanted to hear again. By the end of that day, we'd skipped half the welcome events and sat by the water for hours. We talked about Turkish poets like Jamal Soraya and music from the 90s that no one our age really listened to. She didn't scroll her phone once. She listened like every word mattered. I remember thinking, if this is what friendship feels like, I don't think I've ever had it before. Everyone assumed we were together. Our professors, our friends, even my mom the first time she saw a photo of us. She said, "So, this Layla girl, huh?" But Layla always waved it off. "We're just really close," she'd smile. I'd laugh too, but quieter. It's strange how something can feel both wonderful and hollow at the same time. She started dating a guy named Chem in second year. He was tall, confident, a few years older, and had that fake deep charm some women fall for. I hated how good he was at making her smile. But I stayed in my lane. I helped her pick his birthday gift. I waited up with her after their fights. I told myself, if she's happy, that's enough. But it wasn't, really. I grew up in a house where men didn't cry. My father once told me it's okay to love, but don't get weak about it. That kind of thing stays in your bones. So even when I wanted to say something, even just once, I swallowed it. I became good at nodding, listening, being steady, being her safety net, not her storm. I tried dating too. There was Elif, then Sibel, then Gökçe. Nice women, kind, funny, but I always looked for Layla in them, in their eyes, their laughs, even how they held a cup of tea. It wasn't fair to them, and deep down, I knew that, but I didn't know how to stop comparing everything to her. Years passed like that. We graduated. She moved to the European side. I stayed near Kadıköy. New jobs, breakups, birthdays. But we were constant. She'd call at 1 a.m. and say, "Wanna walk?" And I'd already be putting on my shoes. The city always felt softer when she was beside me. And still, I said nothing. Sometimes I'd catch her looking at me a little longer than usual, or she'd lean in just a bit closer than necessary when showing me something on her phone. Those moments made my heart race. But then, she'd talk about someone she matched with, and the illusion would shatter. I don't know if I imagined it all, or if maybe she was waiting for me to say something first. Like the night it rained and we ran barefoot through the park. She grabbed my hand without thinking, and didn't let go for a full minute. Or the time she fell asleep on my shoulder during a ferry ride, and whispered my name just before waking up. Moments that could have become something more, but they never did, because I never pushed past the line. It's a quiet kind of ache. Loving someone who sees you as everything, except that. It's not like heartbreak. It's softer, slower, like a song stuck in your head you can't fully remember, but you hum anyway. After a while, I convinced myself it was enough just to be near her. That love didn't always need to be said out loud. One evening, out of nowhere, she said, "I got into a master's program in Berlin. I'll be moving next month." She said it like it was a good thing. And it was. She deserved it. But something in me cracked. All I could say was, "That's amazing." And I think I even smiled. She started talking about neighborhoods in Berlin, public transport, the cold winters. She asked if I knew anyone who'd moved there. I nodded. I listened. But all I could hear was the sound of her leaving. And the part of me that had been quietly waiting, it panicked. When she asked if I could help her pack over the weekend, I said yes without thinking. It's what I always do, say yes to her, even when I'm falling apart inside. Her apartment was half empty already when I got there. Cardboard boxes, open suitcases, a playlist humming quietly from her speaker. She greeted me like nothing had changed. But everything had. To me, anyway. We started folding her clothes, sorting old notebooks, joking about the things she hoarded. She found a photo of us from first year. Blurry, laughing, arms wrapped around each other. She smiled at it for a long time, then handed it to me. "Keep it. You look happier in it than I do." I didn't know what to say. There was this pause, not a long one, just enough to notice. Her eyes met mine, and for half a second, I thought, say it, right now. Say it before it's too late. But the words caught in my throat. So instead, I said, "I'll grab us tea," and went to her kitchen like a coward. I stared at her mugs, her shelves, her spices. Everything about her life was so familiar to me, but I didn't belong in it. Not really, not in the way I wanted. When I came back, she was reading something, an old journal. She looked up and said, "Do you ever feel like you're supposed to leave some people behind, even if you love them?" I didn't answer, because I didn't know if she was talking about someone else, or me. I think she sensed something in my silence. She leaned her head against my shoulder, like she had 100 times before. But this time, I couldn't breathe. I wanted so badly to put my arm around her and say, "Please stay." But all I did was sit there, frozen. Fun fact, studies show that over 60% of people who feel deep romantic attachment to a friend never confess it. Fear of rejection or ruining the friendship is one of the most common reasons, especially in cultures where emotional restraint is taught early and often. But you need to know that our brains are hardwired to imagine worst-case scenarios first. It's called negativity bias, a survival instinct that helped our ancestors avoid danger. Here's the thing, we overestimate how bad things will go. Truth is, the scariest conversations are usually the ones that open doors to real connection. Just remember that. Now, back to the story. We didn't talk much after that, just small things. Packing tape, labeling boxes, which books to keep. Everything felt too big to say. So we filled the space with tasks instead of truth. As I zipped her final suitcase, she came over and sat beside me on the floor. "I don't know who I'll call when I have a crisis now," she said, half laughing. I smiled, but it landed like a gut punch, because I wanted to say, "Call me from Berlin," but it felt selfish, like asking her to stay tethered to something I never named. She walked me to the door, the same door I had walked through 1,000 times before, but this time it felt heavier. She gave me a long hug, the kind where neither person wants to be the first to let go. Then she said, "Thank you for always being there, Emre." And I knew that was her goodbye. I stepped into the hallway, holding the photo she gave me earlier. I stared at the back of her door, hoping maybe it would open again. That maybe she'd run out and say something, anything, but it stayed shut, and I stood there, still and stupid, letting her leave without ever knowing. I walked home in silence. The streets were busy, but I don't remember any of the faces, only the noise inside me, the voice saying, "You should have told her," and the other voice saying, "It's better this way. You didn't ruin anything," but both felt like lies. For days, I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying everything, what she said, what I didn't, the way her voice sounded on the word, "thank you." I wanted to write her a message. But what would I even say? "Sorry, I never told you I loved you for almost a decade"? She's in Berlin now. Sometimes she sends photos, street art, cold weather, the library she likes. I always reply with emojis and polite words. Never the things I actually want to say. Because once again, I'm too late. And maybe I always was. I still carry the photo in my wallet. The one where we're laughing, young and unaware. When people ask if I've ever been in love, I say yes. But they don't know it's someone who never knew it back. Maybe some people are meant to be stories, not destinations. I loved her quietly for a very long time. And maybe that was the kindest thing I ever did, or the biggest mistake I'll never stop repeating. What would you have done in my place? What should I do now? If you can relate or enjoyed this story, please like the video and subscribe for more real stories like this.